Oh, and you can see smoke. It's definitely firing up, and it seems to burn a lot cleaner because now you can really hear it running. There you go. She's running. All right, so a little bit of a shop update. It's middle of October, and in Saskatchewan, it's starting to get cold. In fact, they are calling for snow next week. Hopefully it won't stick around, but it's not uncommon for us to get snow before Halloween, which means I gotta find a way to heat this place because I want to work in here all winter. Why I don't put a gas furnace into this garage is I don't have enough power. I only have one 15 amp breaker. I looked at putting more power into the garage and it's cost prohibitive. We're making do because, hey, figure it out, right? A company, Lavaner, reached out to me and said, hey, Ben, we have a diesel heater and we know it's better than the cheap Beaver one you got. Would you be interested in evaluating it? This was a few months ago. At the time, I hadn't really figured out my options for heat in the shop. So I said, yeah, sure. Let's do it. A little bit different, doesn't come in a case like the Beaver one did. Important to note, this is not meant to run continuous in any building. This is an auxiliary diesel heater. It's used mainly in vehicles, campers. So using it in this application is kind of not the right application for it, but I can make it work at least for supplemental heat. So I've been looking at it and I'm going, how am I going to make a bracket or make something to set this in and set the fuel tank in? And I was like, hey, I got a fuel tank. In fact, I got something almost pre-built that we can just modify. The cheap diesel heater from last year. This thing crapped out on me just near the end of the season. It did really well. No complaints. Pretty sure I know what the problem is. The glow plug, they use a cheaper glow plug on them. But hey, when you got an entire another heater unit right here, why can't we put this into that? We'll see what we can do. Not sure if the Lavaner people are gonna appreciate me sticking their heater into their competition's Beaver box, but that's what you get when you want a review on something. You take your risk. This could be a real easy job to do, being that they even sent me a bracket, which looks very much like this one, a lot better engineered, not just stamped metal. Right here, we're gonna use all new stuff. We'll use the pump that came with the Lavaner one. Basically, we're gonna gut this cheap frame. This is very cheap metal, and we're going to use it to put this unit in. So the one thing I can definitely say is it comes with like a whole bunch of fasteners. And as I'm looking through things here, like it has fasteners to fasten the exhaust down. The hardware that comes in this kit, it doesn't feel as cheap as this other stuff, which is kind of neat. But yeah, it's like a plug and play replacement. I'm really shocked by that and pleasantly surprised. Put this together, I'm kind of excited. Like, I did a lot of emails back and forth with them before I took this on, and I mentioned, I have an 8K, and I wasn't sure this 2K was going to be big enough to heat the garage. They kind of said, there's a lot more to learn about diesel heaters. It's all on how much fuel gets to them. It's bolting right in here, and yeah, I'm just going to put it all together and away we go. Like this is not as big of a project as I initially thought. Okay, so I was just swapping the side that this plug goes out, and I opened it up and I thought, it would be interesting to compare this Lavaner one to the Beaver one. Of course, the Beaver one is substantially bigger, but even just in how they do the electronics on the Lavaner one, it's all here and it's in a sealed container. And on the other one, it's on the Beaver, it's as you can see, it's just kind of all loose wires underneath there. So we're just going to move that over to this side. Snaps right in. All these wires go back like so. Tuck them in there. And it's kind of neat. Like I never really took a lot of concern of how these things work, but here's where it draws in the air that it's going to heat. And then on the bottom there, you have a port for combustion air, and then you have a port for exhaust. So if you're doing this in a van or an ice shack where you might not have a lot of combustion air, you can plumb that combustion air right in from the outside and yeah, not kill yourself, which is always a good thing to not kill yourself. Wires can run up, not a problem. Fuel line can come up, not a problem. So this fuel pump looks very much like this one, but it weighs like a lot more. Had to do a little bit of modification to make it fit in this case. Had to put some stuff here. Overall, the quality of these components are a lot better. They give you a ton of fasteners. If you were mounting this into a boat or a camper or whatnot, this is the way to go, guys. Like there's a ton of good stuff here. They're all high quality fasteners, good hose clamp. We're gonna turn it back on. Hear the fan kick on. And now she's gonna run through and try and prime again. There's still a bunch of air in that one line. Oh, there we go. I hear the fuel pump kicking on. Oh, looks like she's getting that air bubble out. Oh, there she goes. You can hear it. Each pump you can hear it pulse. Once it gets that air out. There we go, getting a consistent burn. Well, definitely smell diesel exhaust. I'm gonna let this run for 10 minutes. Oh, I got nice warm air coming out. One of the things I really like about this is the wiring harness is super long, because I put it back in the corner back behind where the camera is, and it's hard to get to. This way I can bring the wiring harness out, it'd be easy to get to. Overall, I would say it's a pretty good heater. We'll see. In conjunction with the radiant heater, it might be the way to go to heat the shop this winter.